Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Chung Kong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. Homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, Amitabha Tathagata of Sukhavati. And his close attendants, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva and Mahastama Prapta Bodhisattva. Semua Tanchen Katsu Tutan Siddhi, all Dhamma masters, Dhamma educators, Dhamma teachers, Dhamma instructors, Dhamma tutors, directors of temples and chapters and centers, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? These are greetings in different languages.
Aishiteru Sarange Hola amico Kekeron mucho Sukoi Ichiban Kimochi ii Yumi Yappy Prin Prin Konnichiwa.
I would like to announce for next Sunday, May 28th. May is almost gone. At 3 p.m. there would be Manohara Homa fire offering ceremony. Manohara, the wealth attracting goddess. And we all know that Manohara was emanated from Amitabha Buddha's heart. And her Vajra hook is very famous. In Tibetan Buddhism, she was called Manohara Vasudhara. In Sukhavati, she is the greatest wealth deity. If you don't like money, or if you don't want any money, you don't have to be the primary supplicant. Last night we practiced Amitabha Buddha deity practice, the mantra Om Amitevase. When we chant Amitabha Buddha, Namo 36,119,500 Buddhas with the same name and identification of Amitabha. Om Amitevase. So, do they chant it this way in other schools? I did not invent this. When I read a sutra, there was an old lady who made a vow, and in a huge barrel of rice, she vowed that she wanted to chant Amitabha Buddha's name, and every time she chanted the name, she would take one rice and finish the whole grains of rice in that barrel. So she chanted and chanted every day. Just imagine how much rice in a barrel. And she had not finished, she only did a little bit. And then one day, she felt that the fire of life is about to be extinguished. And then looking at the rice inside the barrel, there was still a lot. It's impossible to finish, so she cried. And a bodhisattva appeared and told her, why don't you chant Namo 36 trillions, 119,500 Buddhas with the same name and identification of Amitabha. After you chant this, you can just pour all the rice in the barrel and completed it. When I read that passage inside the book, I was very pleased. So I started to chant it that way. And I taught everybody to chant this way. By chanting this, Namo 36 trillions, imagine Buddha's name. With one statement, you completed Namo 36 trillions, 119,500 Buddhas with the same name and identification of Amitabha. I don't know if other Buddhist schools followed me to chant this way, but I discovered this inside the book. And I used it. I used all the good stuffs that I found. And sure enough, chanting this generates great power. But there's a disciple who asked me, can we chant Namo 36 trillion, 119,500, the same name and identification, Padma Kumara? Let me tell you, I've never read about this. So, Bodhisattvas are compassionate towards sentient beings, so that Bodhisattva thought this, but they didn't teach about Padma Kumara. Or for your yidam, Namo 36 9,500 Manjusri Bodhisattva. That would be too much. That's going overboard. But knowing this, we feel rest assured that we don't, we definitely give more than needed. There are many names of Amitabha Buddha. The Buddha of infinite life, Buddha of infinite light, the King of Amrita, Tathagata, and the boundless light Buddha,
无对光佛、
unhindered
业
Buddha,
王光佛、 清净光佛、 欢喜光佛、 智
pure
慧
light
光佛、
Buddha,
不断
or
光佛、
wisdom light
南
Buddha,
师光佛、 无尘光佛、
ceaseless light
日月
Buddha,
光佛、
the Buddha of inconceivable light, the Buddha of indescribable light, the Buddha transcending sunlight and moonlight, Buddha of pure light, Buddha of joyful
阿
light.
弥陀佛的正
They're
法
all
人生是
Amitabha
文殊师利
Buddha's
菩萨，
name.
教令
And
人生是大威德金刚。
Manjushri is the embodiment of Amitabha wills
他
of
的是
true Dharma, and
最是阿弥陀
Yamantaka
佛
is
发
Amitabha's
了
will of
48大
injunction.
愿，
So Amitabha Buddha generated 48 vows to
因为你
widely
看那
deliver
个出
sentient
家人见
beings.
面，
That's why
南无阿弥陀佛，
when the ordained people greet each other, they say Namo
每一个学佛
Amitabha.
的人都知道。
Every Buddhist knows about this holy name.
过去有人问罗那上师了，罗那上师就是了明和尚的。
Someone asked about Nora Rinpoche, who was Master, the Venerable Monk Liao Ming's
密教最
guru.
大的法是什么？
And the greatest Dharma in
密
Tantric
教最大
Buddhism,
的法是
the Norna, Master Norna said, is the Amitabha's great Dharma, is the greatest Dharma in Tantric Buddhism. So today,
是密教的最大的法。
by performing Amitabha Buddha's Homa, we did the greatest Dharma of Tantric Buddhism.
了明和尚是谁啊？
Who is the Venerable Monk Liao Ming?
很多人找不出来。
Many people cannot find information about him. He told me before.
他的父亲呢，就是太平天国时代。
His father was the Peace Empire.
杨秀清。
Yang Xiuqian, Yang Xiuqin.
杨秀清。其中他们有几个王。
There were several kings.
其中有一个王。
And one of them,
这个是比较至今比较严厉的一个王。
that was very disciplined or strict, called Siddhakai. If you know him, please raise your hand.
一王石达开。
Iwang Siddhakai.
就是石达开的儿子。
And Siddhakai's son is the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. But why did his family name is Zhang? Because at that time Siddhakai has died.
然后那个石达开的这个，他有在跟一个人，
And Siddhakai
生下的小孩就姓那个人的姓。其中
gave birth to a child who followed the family name of his mother.
深的去追究。
This was the past of my guru, and we did not seek further information about it.
现在进入主题，马来西亚。
Now the main subject, question from Malaysia ไปเรียนฮวากันมิง
尊贵的根本传承上师
Homage to the precious lineage root Guru Living Buddha 莲生
自在健康长
Peace
请问师父
ease, health, and
我们念
longevity.
地藏经时
Guru
观
Buddha,
想
I would
身
like
在
to
内
ask,
心供地藏
when we recite the Siddhikapa
念地
Sutra,
藏圣号
should we visualize ourselves in the Tushita heavens gathering of Siddhikapa Bodhisattva?
是不可以或需要观想在南方世界
Are we allowed or do we need to visualize the jade green, pure, profound pure land of the southern world
南方翠
when reciting
种种
the name or mantra of Siddhikapa? And could you please explain the various auspicious scenes of Siddhikapa Bodhisattva's Pure Land?
翠微世界
The Cui Wei or jade green profound Pure Land in the south,
这是第一点。
the southern Pure Land.
第二个问题
The second question,
弟子自父母离世才有
it was only after my parents passed away that I started reciting the Siddhikapa Sutra and mantra every day.
为求所有7分功德可以
I wish that my parents can receive the 7 parts of the merit,
他们一起亲
and I visualize them reciting together with
他
me.
们是不是可以拿
So,
到
Grandmaster,
全部的
can they receive all the 7 parts or 70% of the merit
马哈双
so that they can swiftly attain rebirth in the Mahatwin Lotus Pond?
这是第二个问题。
Second, that was the second question. The third question now.
一时刀立天宫
Once in the Tushita heaven, Sakyamuni Buddha spoke on Siddhikapa Sutra,
佛菩萨护法
and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, along with Dharma protectors and all gods and ghosts, come to support and praise Siddhikapa Bodhisattva.
为什么地
So,
藏菩萨
Grandmaster,
没有在其他
why
说法
does Siddhikapa Bodhisattva not appear in other Dharma
地藏菩
gatherings?
萨是化身不同，
Or
留身在法
was it that Siddhikapa Bodhisattva
师尊
appear
是地藏
as different beings? Like because Grandmaster Louis Siddhikapa Bodhisattva? What?
如是再次顶礼和感恩师佛，开始
Here, homage and gratitude to
礼后。
Guru Buddha Om Guru Rensa
就
Siddhi.
第二点，
Second
你
point,
只要把
as long as you, like when you chant a sutra,
3分的功德，你自己本人念经的人有7分的功德，
and the chanter, you receive 7 parts,
全部
and
向给自己的。
the person whom you dedicate merit to is 3 parts. But you want to give your 7 parts to your parents, and now you're asking if they can receive that.
我觉得你已经要
In
把
my
你的7分
opinion,
功德全部都回向给你的父母了。
You want to give your 7 parts to your parents, and your parents had
地藏经的人有
the
7
3
分功德
parts, and because you chant the Siddhikapa Sutra, receive 7
你已
parts.
经回向的，
And then, if you have done the merit dedication of your 7 parts to your
10
parents,
分的功德，
so that means your parents got all of them, 100% then.
也不用问他们有没有拿到。
Don't need to ask if they got it or not. As long as you generate the intent,
不
that's
用
good
问有没有
enough.
拿到，你已经
You
回
don't
向
need to
了，
worry or
你
ask.
愿意把自己的7分功德
As long as you have done the merit dedication
你自己的父母，
and you are willing to give your part to your parents,
父母就会拿。
as long as you have the heart and the intent, then your parents will get it.
那就是
my reply to your second question. And the first question is about the Cui Wei, or jet green pure land, profound pure land, or the sudden emerald pure land. All pure lands are marvelous. In the future, if there's the right affinity, I will talk about it. If I talk about it now, just one realm would be in the future. In the future, I will talk about Siddhikarpa's pure land, because it's not in a few words, or maybe I'll write it in my books. That would be fine too. Third question. Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva is one of the 8 great bodhisattvas. Like when we chant the Avalokitesvara hiking sutra, we would chant the 8 great bodhisattvas: Avalokitesvara, Manjushri, Samantabhadra, Siddhikarpa, Maitreya Bodhisattva, Akasakarpa Bodhisattva, Vajapani Bodhisattva, Viskambi Bodhisattva. Those are the 8 great bodhisattvas. And Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva is one of the 8 great bodhisattvas. Sakyamuni Buddha highly respected Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva. The Buddha entrusted sentient beings in Jambudvipa, in the world, to Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva. Avalokitesvara is truly great, but he was not entrusted, and many people ask. And if about compassion, that's Avalokitesvara. Joy and equanimity, that would be Mahastama Bodhisattva. And with wisdom, you're Manjushri Bodhisattva. Many great bodhisattvas, Samantabhadra too, also Dharma Prince. Avalokitesvara is also Dharma Prince. Mahastama Prapta is Dharma Prince. Like from the Huayan Avatamsaka world, there would be Sakyamuni Buddha, Manjushri, and Samantabhadra as the Dharma Princes. In the Sukhavati, Avalokitesvara and Mahastama Prapta Bodhisattvas are the Dharma Princes. And Vairocana's realm, Lucana Buddha, Buddha Lucana, and Sakyamuni Buddha are the Dharma Princes. Many Dharma Princes. So in the Siddhikarpa Sutra, why did Sakyamuni Buddha entrusted the sentient beings in the world to Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva? I remembered I read a book. Maybe not reading a book or listening to a teaching. I remember a Dharma teacher said, Sakyamuni Buddha was a monk. Sakyamuni Buddha was the greatest monk. And of the 8 great bodhisattvas, there was only one who appeared as a monk, as a Sravaka, and that was Siddhikarpa Bodhisattva. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva appeared mostly as a laity, and Manjushri too as a laity. Samantabhadra also appeared as a laity. Maitreya also appeared as a laity.
然后再来这个虚空塔。
Akasagarbha also appeared as a laity.
除盖章也是
Viskambian too
居士的神，
appeared as a laity, and Vajrapani also appered as a
其
laity,
中只有地藏王菩
laity
萨
or lay
是
people,
圣
lay
无人圣
practitioner. Only Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva appeared as a Sravaka
所以
or
这
a
个释
monk,
迦牟尼
an
佛
ordained person.
把人天护属
Some people say that
地藏菩
that's
萨，
why Sakyamuni Buddha
在他
entrusted
涅槃
the
以后，
devas
他
and
把人
humans
天
to
给地藏。
Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva before he entered
这里他写
Parinibbana.
着，
It's written here.
地藏菩萨没有在其他说法聚会中出现护持，有啦。地藏菩萨有
Siddhigarbha
啦
Bodhisattva did not appear in other Dharma gatherings.
你们
No,
看经典有没
he
有？
does. He did. Didn't you read it in the sutras?
没有在释迦牟尼佛说法的时候出现吗？
Did
释迦牟
he
尼佛的盛会当中，
appear in any of Sakyamuni Buddha's Dharma gatherings?
有谁知道他在哪一本经典出现过？
Anybody knows?
啊？当然，《地藏十轮经》一定是地藏。
Well, in
很多经典
Siddhigarbha Sutra, well, of course, that's
别的经典
Siddhigarbha.
里面出现了地藏菩萨。
But how about other sutras?
好了，这里不谈啊。
Okay, let's not talk
我
more
告诉
about
你
it.
是有护持，你知道
Yes.
地藏菩萨的分身有多少？
He
真的也是无
supports,
数哎。
supported. Do you know how many
地
emanations
藏经里面有一个
Siddhigarbha
分身
Bodhisattva has? Countless.
什么叫做分身？
In the Siddhigarbha Sutra, there was a chapter on the emanations of Siddhigarbha, that all
然后
the
分开来
different emanations of Siddhigarbha went to Tushita
供
heaven,
养如来，目不暂时。
and there were
然
innumerable
后他
of
们
them
复合成为一
chant
身，
praise the
再把所有
Tathagata
的分身地
with
藏
their
菩萨
gaze
合
fixed on the
变成一个身
Tathagata, and then they
他有无数
combine
无数的分身，
into one body.
每
So
一
he
场
had
会
countless
地藏菩萨都去
emanations.
护持的，不会
So
护持的。
Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, of course, went and supported
阎浮提众
all of the Buddha's
释
gatherings.
迦牟尼佛在阎浮提众生说法那么多场，一定有
Sakyamuni
分身的地藏菩
Buddha
萨去护持的。
gave so many Dharma teachings. Of course, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva had gone and supported those, definitely, for sure.
哎，维摩诘经有没有？
Was he mentioned in the Vimalakirti Sutra?
我记得维摩诘经有大菩萨护持，
There were many great
所有的菩萨的名字，
Bodhisattvas.
其中有
Oh, there
观
was
音，
Manjusri and Avalokitesvara, as we remember. But was there Siddhigarbha?
他那么多的菩萨里面呢，
Of all those Bodhisattvas, several in the tens of thousands,
所以菩萨名号
also mentioned.
记得有没有地藏菩萨？
Do you remember? Was Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva mentioned? No, it was not mentioned.
啊？好了，不管有没有出现，
It doesn't matter whether he was,
他有很多的化
whether he
身，
appeared or not, but he had many emanations.
他这边写着如师尊，也就是地藏王菩萨。
And it's written here that Grandmaster Lu is also Siddhigarbha
我还没有
Bodhisattva,
听过
Amitabha.
这个有人讲我是地藏王菩萨。
I've never
地藏
heard
王菩萨吗？
that people said I am Siddhigarbha
我有没有
Bodhisattva.
这样
Am I?
讲过
Did I ever say that?
Oh, my brother
Oh, you said it's my brother.
对啊，我有讲过是 my brother。
Yeah, I did say he's my brother.
地藏王菩萨也是莲花童子，
And Siddhikarma Bodhisattva too is Padma Kumara, a lotus youth.
是 brother， 我没有讲说
My brother, but I did not say
就是
that
地藏王菩萨。
I am Siddhikarma Bodhisattva.
你说因为卢世尊也就是地藏王菩萨，
You said because Grandmaster Lu is Siddhikarma Bodhisattva.
那表示说你也不知道，我也不知道。
But let me add the question mark there, which means you did not know and I also did not know.
一定会扶持的。
But Siddhikarma will definitely support.
那关于翠微世界的种种盛景，以后再告诉大家。
And about the marvelous scenes in the jade green, profound Pure Land, I will talk about it later.
讲个笑话吧。
Let me share a joke.
结婚之前，有位朋友要介绍女朋友给我。 我有什么希望的条件？
Marriage, someone introduced a girl to me, and what are my requirements? A gentle and upright and speak well and can be brought outside and introduced to me like a funeral, someone in the funeral home. Yeah, it's a little bit of play of words of Chinese. The wife said to the husband, "Honey, my tummy is getting bigger and bigger. Am I pregnant?" And the husband replied, without even looking, "I know who's the dad." And the wife said, "Who?" And the husband said, there were three: McDonald, Kentucky, and Huxizhang. So the tummy was because of food.
这个笑话很长。
It's a long joke.
什么是子女？什么是你的子女？
The question is, who is your children? You sign in their birth certificate, and they sign in your death certificate. When they come, you laugh so hard, you smile so hard, but when you die, they cry so hard. Well, not necessarily. You need to nod your head before the doctor can do the cesarean, but they need to nod their head before the doctors can take away the life supports. And you send them to the kindergarten, and they send you to the senior home. You give them a bicycle, and they give you a wheelchair. And many years ago, you carried them back home from the hospital, and many years later, they carry your urn home.
你给他拍照，他最后会捧你的照片。
You take their photo and they carry your photo.
你要钱的时候，烧给你花。
When they want money, you wire it to them. But when you want money, they burn some money for
你
you.
帮他报户口，
And you register
他帮你
them
除户口。
for the census, and then the children eliminate you from the family registration. Those are called your children. Does it make sense? It's about time.
这个也是笑话吗？
Is this a joke too?
你同事的老公啊，给他送午饭来，没有讲。
A female co-worker's husband brought her lunch. Did not say anything, just placed it there. And a new colleague asked, "Who's that?" And the colleague said, "Oh, delivery." So, and then the new male co-worker asked, "Didn't you pay him?" "Oh, no need. I just accompany him at bed tonight." So this new male co-worker brought her 4 dishes and a soup the next day, and everybody laughed.
这只有台湾才知道里长。
This is only for Taiwanese.
里长对着一个晚上
which is like a neighborhood,
小朋友这么晚了，你一个人在
told the little kid, "Oh, it's so late. Why are you outside alone?" And the kid said, "Oh, mom and dad are fighting."
爸爸是谁？
Wow, who's your dad? I don't know. That's why they're fighting about it. That's what they're fighting about.
哎，好，我们讲维摩诘经。
Now we will talk about Vimalakirti Sutra.
这个若在梵天。
In the Brahman heaven, he was honored among the Brahma Devas for teaching the supreme wisdom. If Vimalakirti was among the Brahma Devas, he was also the most honored among them. Why? Because Vimalakirti is a perfectly enlightened Buddha, or perfectly awakened or realized Buddha. So, to the Brahma Devas, what did he teach? He taught the most supreme wisdom. In spiritual cultivation, sometimes we go beyond the realm of desire to reach the realm of form, which is the place of Mahabrahmas. And there are many Mahabrahmas, Mahabrahma Devas, or gods. In Hinduism, we refer to him as Brahma. And in Hinduism, he was the creator of heaven and earth. The water in Ganges River was spit out from Brahma Deva's mouth. And because Vimalakirti was in India, but if Vimalakirti was in the Brahma heaven, he was also the greatest among the Brahma Devas and would teach them the most supreme wisdom, the most superior supreme wisdom, because the Brahma Devas still need to be reincarnated. All the three heavenly realms still have to go through transmigration. So the supreme wisdom is to lead the Brahma Devas, because when they're about to be reincarnated, they have the supreme wisdom, so they know how to cultivate spiritually to go to a higher realm. And among the Lord Indras, he was honored for showing impermanence. And the Indra is in the desire realm, the realm of desire. So Indra is also a heavenly king. So when Vimalakirti was in the Indra heaven, he would teach the Indras that the precious throne of Lord Indra would decay, even flowers will wilt, and even now you have fragrance on your body, but you will start to sweat, and your celestial garments were originally always clean, but then it became dirty. It would become dirty. So the Lord Indra's precious throne is not forever. And you would be sick of sitting on the Dharma throne at all times. Although in the Indra heaven, the flowers never wilt, but when the heavenly being is about to be reincarnated, then the flowers will wilt and the body would start to sweat, because although the bodies of the heavenly beings are radiant, fragrant, but then they would start to sweat and would lose the luminosity. But in Chinese, we call the woman's sweat to be fragrant sweat, and the man's sweat is foul, and the celestial garments will get dirty. So Vimalakirti will tell the beings in the Indra heaven that this Indra heaven is also impermanent, that it is not forever. So therefore you need to practice Buddha Dharma, because the beings in the Brahma heaven and the Indra heaven are supportive of Buddha Dharma. So they also need to know to cultivate spiritually, not just taking refuge in the three jewels. All they do in the Brahma heaven and Indra heaven is to take refuge in the three jewels, but they need to cultivate spiritually. Among the protectors, he was revered to protect sentient beings. Vimalakirti was in the heaven of the four heavenly kings, and the four heavenly kings protect the sentient beings and the three jewels of Buddha Dharma. You go to China, at all temples in China, the first hall as you enter is always the hall of the four heavenly kings. And then there would be Maitreya Bodhisattva seated there, and behind him there would be Sangharama, and Sangharama would be facing the great hall. So the entrance hall is the four heavenly kings. So that's why we call the world protector the four heavenly kings. Virudaka, Dasarashtra, Virupaksa, Vaisravana, the four heavenly kings. In the lunar calendar, the farmer's almanac, it would be written the day where the four heavenly kings are patrolling the world. So it means that these four kings from the heavens patrol around the Saha world and protect humans. And when Vimalakirti was in this heavens of the four heavenly kings, also protect and support and help all sentient beings. The elder Vimalakirti, utilizing countless skillful means, benefited sentient beings. He manifested an illness in his body as a skillful means. This connect with the following one. So the elder Vimalakirti utilized countless skillful means to benefit sentient beings. Like the heavenly realm of desire, form and formlessness, are the highest realms of the six rebirth realms, and that's the heavenly realm, which is divided into three: the realm of desire, and then the realm of form with light, and the realm of formlessness, which is close to Buddha nature, but also the realm of nihilism, which is called the heavens of four emptiness. And there's the five non-returning heavens, which is close to nihilism. It's called the five non-returning heavens. So the elder Vimalakirti utilize countless skillful means to benefit sentient beings, and heavenly beings are part of the sentient beings, one of the six rebirth realms. So if you rise to the heavenly realm of desire, form or formlessness, it's still considered as part of reincarnation. So he benefited all sentient beings. He manifested an illness in his body as a skillful means. Due to his illness, the kings, ministers, elders, lay people, and Brahmins, as well as numerous princes and other officials, numbering in the thousands, all went to inquire about his illness. He was very famous in that city. Even the kings and the princes and the ministers and all the famous people went to visit because he was sick. So when he appeared ill, as a skillful means, the king, ministers, elders, lay people, Brahmins, princes, officials, numbering in the thousands, all went to inquire about his illness, visiting Vimalakirti.
去的人呐，维摩诘呢，就因为他身体有病，
When they
以
went,
他的病来广说佛法，
Vimalakirti utilized his situation of being ill
那些人
to extensively expound the Dharma.
这个病一定是很轻的。
Then he must not have been very sick, must be a very small ailment, because if he was gravely ill, he could not speak on any Dharma.
青菜啊，谁谁
So maybe just catching cold,
打一下喷嚏哦，所有的
just sneezing, and everybody visited him
能够
already.
利用这个机会，
Then he utilized such an
利用这个
opportunity
机会
of being sick
说佛。
to give Dharma teaching to all these people.
那其实哦，按照那个很多人解释这个经典，
According to the many explanations by other people, that his sickness was not real, was fake.
它是假病。
So, fake illness.
生病，
We often say, "Ah, sick." A human being is really
有一
sick,
句话讲，
can get really sick.
假病吃假药。
With the fake illness, you eat the fake medicine.
真病的话，
But
那是
a
没有
true illness, there is no medicine that can cure it.
假药医假病，真病无药医。我们是这样子讲。维摩诘怎么会生病？他不应该有病的。
How could Vimalakirti get sick?
不过他有
He shouldn't have been sick, but he had the physical body. When you have a physical body, then you will get sick.
像我绝对不敢讲说我没有病。
I don't dare to say that I have no illnesses.
我也会有病。
I can have illnesses too. Why?
等一下会讲到。
I will talk about it here
等一
later.
下会讲到这个身体，这个身体
I will talk about the body.
是很糟糕。
The body is
四
really
大假合，
bad.
地水
It is an aggregate of the four elements, the earth, water, fire, and wind.
假的东西去合起来，
So an aggregate of false or elements, and then you add Buddha nature to it. Then you add consciousness. We say add the consciousness, then it would become a human.
你就生病。
When the four elements are not balanced or harmonized, then you're sick.
火大，你也
If the wind, too much fire, too much water, or too much earth, then you will feel
地
sick.
水火风，这调的刚刚好。
So when these four elements are balanced completely right, then you would be
这
healthy.
是讲病。
But with the slight off balance, then you would
维
be
摩
sick.
诘呢，本身呢，
That's what
他
sickness is
神通
about.
自在，
But Vimalakirti had transcendent power and self-mastery. He was Jinli
实现人
Tathagata,
生。那么在
appearing as a human being in the Saha world to deliver
在
sentient
上
beings.
度化众生。
He was delivering sentient beings in the Saha world. He was helping
在那
Sakyamuni
个
Buddha.
城里面呢，也是很有名的。
He was very famous in that city. That's why the kings and the ministers and all of them went to
千人都是
visit him,
问候他，然后他
thousands of them every day. And then he started telling Buddha
他
Dharma
的意思
to
这样
them.
讲。有的人讲说，
That's what it meant. But some people said that he faked his illness and used the opportunity to teach Buddha Dharma to the people. It doesn't matter whether he was really sick or it was a fake illness. But the point is he was giving Dharma teaching when he was sick. And then someone asked him, why did you get sick? And he replied, because sentient beings are sick, that's why I'm sick. Grandmaster Lu can also reply that way. Grandmaster, how come you have ailments? Because sentient beings have ailments, that's why I am sick. But the body is no good. Lao Tzu said it very clearly. My biggest peril or trouble in this world is because I have this physical body. Lao Tzu of Taoism stated that the worst, the biggest misery or troubles of my life is the physical body. But why a physical body is a peril? And Vimalakirti will talk about it. Everybody went to visit him because he utilized the situation being ill to expound Dharma. He did it intentionally. I am sick, come, visit me, I'm about to die. So the king, princes, ministers, everybody come. And then he used the opportunity to expound the Dharma. King, ministers, elders, lay people, Brahmins, and numerous princes and officials, numbering in the thousands, all went to inquire about his illness. Sakyamuni Buddha had said that visiting the sick generated the greatest blessing. So if you visit the sick, generate the great blessing. But no, during COVID-19, if you visit them, you would be kicked out from the hospital or not allowed. If you die during that time, your family and friends could not even get near you, and you were all by yourself and cremated and gone. We could not do anything during that period of time, right? We all had to be isolated. I saw something very moving. The girlfriend was infected with COVID-19 and about to die. And with the plastic, the transparent plastic divider or isolator. And then the boyfriend went to visit her. And then he opened what do you call it? The plastic. And then they died, both died. What that kind of love was very moving. Oh heavens, very moving. That's because they haven't got married. That's why you dared to do that and you had the love. But after marriage, oh, it's just about to die. That's fine. Maybe just 2 drops of tears, good enough. That's after marriage. It's hard. Yeah, some people still have love after marriage, but it's hard to say. Love, like the book I wrote, it's called Samsaric Affection, or in Chinese is love, karmic connection from many lifetimes. Some are very touching. You can drop tears reading
觉得
them.
也很奇怪。
People have
我
feelings.
想到我自己的母亲，
You know, it's very interesting. Every time I think of my
为什么
mom,
我
I
想
would
到
drop
我父亲？
tears. But why, when I think of my dad, I never shed any
是
tears?
父亲也养育我啊，没有
Actually, my
他，
dad
除非你
also
父亲
raised
赚薪
me.
水回来，
If he
你
did not
哪里
earn
能
any
够长
money
大？
from the power
到
company,
19岁你自己去
how
独立
could
进入
I
工作，
have grown up until 19 and then I went to the
其实
military
也有
school?
恩于我，
So of course I
他把你养到19 岁啊，
owed him some
然后你去读军校，
gratitude too.
让你独立去，
He raised me
想
until
到
I
父
was
亲，
19 before I became independent and went to the military school.
得到那个军校的那个通知单的时候啊，
But thinking
拿
of
到这个
him,
通知单，
when I
感动
got a
的流泪，
notice from the military college, I was so moved that I could be free. I was about to go to the military
我
school.
考取那个军校联招的时候，
When I got accepted at the military
军校
school,
联招收起来，
my dad hid
不
it,
让我看，不让我
did not let me know
后
about
来
it.
我母亲一直跟他讲，
And my mom
他
kept telling him,
就一定要给他，
because he got accepted, so you should let him go. And the military school was free, so we didn't have to spend any money.
这样
So let him go to the military school. I was working already by then. I was already
台
working by
湾高
then
雄南部火力发电厂，
in the Southern Power
高雄
Company in
高
Kaohsiung.
雄南火，高雄南火哈，南部火力发电厂，我在那边机械工厂
The the Southern
做事情，
Power Company in Kaohsiung.
高中
So I was working already
就在那里上班，
after high school graduation.
然后我父亲到最后没办法，就跟我讲，
So finally, my dad
这个军校，
told me, you
我
got
说我一定要去
accepted
读，
in the
他们
military
说不让我
school.
去，
And I said, yes, I definitely have to go. And they said, no.
做流氓，
And then I told them, if that's the case, I would become a gangster.
逐级长
A gangster.
给啊，给啊就是流氓，啊，我就故意啊，这个
And then
包
I
烟
I bought a pack of cigarettes and started to smoke. And just roaming around on the streets and did not go to work anymore.
小的要当流氓，
And I claimed that I'm gangster now.
那邻居就来告诉我爸爸
And
妈
then
妈
the
说，
neighbors told my parents,
你那个是
"Yeah, do you know your son,
街
Katsu,
上抽烟呢，
who's smoking on the road and he wants to be a gangster?"
让他去
And then my parents got worried and
离开家里，
let me
这时候
go.
想到我，
So luckily, and then I left home. And then remembering what she told me then.
我就，但是我想到我父亲，我就
But
不会
every time I remembered my dad, I would not cry. 我想说，人是有感情， I'm saying that the human being has emotions, has feelings. 好吧。 That's all, Mani Beni Ho.